Dude, I will seriously pay you, like, however much money to argue with me. I promise. Like, I don't know, like, you know, not ever however much, but, like, if you're seriously, like, I can debate my trans ideas, I can debate your trans ideas, dude. We can do this. Please say yes.
I will happily argue with fucking Meghan Murphy on the stage for an hour and a half or whatever. I won't even charge you. I will do it for free.
Dude! Me and you.
There's your offer. I will come and I will argue this person for free. Can't get better than that.
Whew. Okay. So, I'm a little bit excited. I just stumbled across a video called My University Invited a TERF. And it's from a New Zealander. The YouTube channel name is Gutian? Gutian? Fuck, I'm gonna need to know how to pronounce that if I'm gonna be regularly making fun of it. So let's just look that up for a sec.
Behind the whole cancel Gutian theatrics.
Gutian, there we go. Sweet, you said it. Finally. Yeah, I came across Gutian's channel. I guess I'll just dive in. The reason why I'm so excited is because I have already seen the first 60 seconds of this, and there are already some pretty blatant misrepresentations or outright lies. So I'm excited. Okay, so without further ado, my apologies for subjecting you to Gutian.
Hello guys, gals and empals, and welcome to the shitty feminist side of YouTube.
The irony of that introduction.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking for the first time, possibly ever, about my home country, New Zealand. And specifically we're talking, in fact, about my university, Massey University. Now, Massey is mostly a pretty good university. They have a rainbow tick from the LGBT groups in this country because they're pretty decent when it comes to trying to look after groups within them, especially diverse or minority groups. However, recently there's been a massive debacle over effectively them inviting or allowing for this person called Meghan Murphy, who is an avowed transphobe.
She's literally not an avowed transphobe. You have defined her as a TERF, but to say she's an avowed something means like you would be able to find a quote where she says, yes, I am transphobic, but you can't find that quote. So that's a lie.
I.e. TERF, to come and speak at the university, as invited by the group Speak Up for Women. Now, Meghan Murphy is so bad that they've actually been banned from Twitter, which...
Why is he not saying she? Because Meghan Murphy, as far as I'm aware, she's never not used those pronouns. So you're now misgendering someone else intentionally. Yeah, so what are you doing, man? We need to have an intervention. Okay, yeah, I'll let this play out. This is where I paused it last time.
If you've seen stuff from people like Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro or some other people, isn't that easy to do? Honestly, it's pretty hard to get banned from Twitter unless you're someone like Alex Jones. So it's kind of interesting that we invite this person along.
Yeah, it's also kind of interesting that you didn't fucking address at all why she was banned, when it's really easy to look up why she was banned. And she was banned because she called Jay Yaniv, however you, like, that person. She used male pronouns when describing Yaniv to another woman, and that's why she got banned off of Twitter. You're assuming, for some reason, that, like, this giant corporation of Twitter is logical and consistent and coherent, and, oh, well, if she must be worse than Alex Jones.
Now, obviously this raised a couple of eyebrows from people who were like, hey, you seem to think that trans people are okay. Why would you allow this person to speak here? They are very avowed in the belief that allowing trans women to have rights, and they mostly focus on trans women. They say they're against trans rights, but they don't seem to care about trans men at all.
Find me a quote where Meghan Murphy says, I'm against trans rights. The reason why they're focusing on trans women is because trans women are male, and when they're adults, they're men. And so naturally, a feminist is most concerned about the potential problems with interacting with men.
But allowing trans people to have rights will override the rights of women, i.e. the standard TERF arguments, you know, women in sports, women's private public space.
Oh yeah, women in sports, you know how their skulls just bust open for no reason sometimes, but we don't need to explain that.
Women in sports, women's private public spaces.
Women's private public spaces. Yeah, that's a really good way to explain that.
Is women and just having, if trans people get to be allowed to be themselves, then all of a sudden women will have to go back to working in the kitchen. Trans people are TERFs.
TERFs! I don't understand anything they've ever said. I can barely even remember the talking points, but
Not the smartest people in the world, but they are very loud and very obnoxious.
Yes. Unlike trans women, who are very demure.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am. Motherfucker.
And their beliefs also work very well to the conservative/Republican crowd.
Yeah, unlike the anti-gay shit you're pushing.
Although over here it's the conservative/national crowd, because yet again, this is happening in New Zealand, my country, in my city, in my university. It's just the best. I'm obviously annoyed about this, and I will be joining protests against this group being allowed to speak here because I think it's a terrible thing, and I think that New Zealand should be better than this. I don't think we should be allowing groups like TERFs to come and just speak willy-nilly without any...
Speak willy-nilly, like there's some kind of freedom of speech where people can just talk words out of their mouth. Like, imagine what would happen if just anyone could say the things they're thinking.
kind of pushback at all, because the same should happen for anyone who also wants to remove the rights from a group of people. White supremacists shouldn't be allowed to have that kind of public platform.
What did they used to call this? Not the Bechdel test. Godwin's law. You can't think of a reasonable way to... You don't know how to make a fucking political metaphor. You're not even clear enough about the ideas that you disagree with to make a political metaphor, so you just lazily go, they're Nazis. I do this because they're Nazis. Red Scare shit. Look up the Red Scare. That's literally what the, like... I'll put a link below, you can watch it.
Now, the obnoxious thing from all of this, and the bit that I thought was interesting enough to make a video about, is the way that Massey University has responded to this. Now, Massey University has seen all these criticisms and complaints suggesting that allowing them to speak would potentially cause a harmful or toxic environment for the LGBT, specifically trans students who go to this university, and therefore they probably shouldn't be allowed to speak. Massey saw all that and went, well, okay, how about this? What if all of the money that we get from them coming to speak here, because they are being hosted in a theatre at Massey, so there will be people paying to go and see them, any money that Massey gets, they've said they will donate to LGBT groups. I.e. they'll donate it to some charity stuff, to some community-based...
Compromise? Compromise?
helplines and that kind of thing. Which is the stupidest fucking thing I think I've ever heard. Wait, so you recognise that they're bad, you fully understand the fact that this is a terrible thing to do, and that allowing them in is...
No. They recognise that you're being a pain in the ass, and they want to placate you in some way.
Is going to potentially cause a stressful, or is going to encourage a nasty environment for trans people to be in. But you're still going to allow it. You just... The money that you get, you'll just donate that money, though, to groups that are designed to help people who are put into toxic environments, or to... It's the self-fulfilling circle here, really, is it not? You're allowing someone who creates the environments to come, and then using the money to pay to groups that try to help people who have been stuck into that.
Yeah, I mean, if you can see that the arguments do what you say they do, then that's stupid, but I don't think that that's what the university's actually doing. But if it is, yeah, you're right, they're dumb. Good point.
To that nasty or horrible environment, why just don't allow them, right? If that's what you're going to do. Now, this is bad for a few reasons. It's bad because it doesn't placate anybody. It doesn't really help anybody.
It does. They're trying to placate you. At least you recognize that.
You're allowing them to come and speak, but you're not challenging them. You're not expressing any kind of discontent with what they've said. I, for one, would be fine with if they came to speak, but what you said to them was, hey, while you're here, we're actually going to invite a couple of some of the people in Wellington. I know a few who are very outspoken transgender advocates, who are very well educated, and they can come on stage and they can argue with you on stage. And then that way the people that come to see you will get to see you actually test your ideas, rather than just see you spout your ideas free from any kind of confrontation.
That's literally what you want to be able to do, because you're saying to even have a TERF on campus is, genocide, which means that your ideas never get tested. Her ideas have been tested repeatedly. She's gone through things in order to be able to express them. So, like, the idea that the TERFs haven't had enough criticism is kind of bizarre. Like, the fact that you dominate the campus 364 days a year just isn't enough. And that's the whole 1984 Big Brother, you have to love us absolutely, even in the last second before you die, you still have to love us. That's what you want. And, obviously it's not love.
That's a better use of the university as a debate platform than as just a propaganda platform.
Which it is 364 days of the year then.
I would prefer that.
Of course you would.
I don't like the idea of you basically still giving them money to come and speak, because you are still giving them money. You're just giving away your money, the university's money, that it receives to charities. They still get to come, say all this transphobic shit, get the money, and then fuck right off again. This is terrible. This is a terrible response because it shows that you don't really care about the trans people. Obviously, the TERFs have jumped up and said, oh, well, it's freedom of speech. They're allowed to, practice the freedom of speech, which New Zealand has slightly more obscure laws around freedom of speech. It's not...
Australia doesn't have, like, a Bill of Rights either. Like, we don't have a right to freedom of speech. It's somehow it's legally defended in other ways.
It's not so baked into a constitution, per se. We have a Bill of Rights, like many countries. But this would probably more likely come under hate speech, which is why it's odd that it's been allowed to happen at all.
It's not hate speech.
Now, like I said, I will be going to protest.
Which is why they're not, like, if it was hate speech, surely the police would be intervening. But the police aren't intervening, but that means it's not hate speech. And then that means I might be wrong.
This one because this is important. This is in my university. I don't particularly like the idea of a transphobe / TERF just walking around without having any people go, hey, no, those are terrible ideas. What are you doing here? Get the fuck off.
Women who have ideas on campus that I disagree with, I think should be bullied out of the space. Yeah, real woke, dude.
Massey, if you're listening, I don't know why you would, but if you are listening, I will come. I will argue with the transphobe.
Dude, I will seriously pay you, like, however much money to argue with me. I promise. Like, I don't know, like, not ever however much, but, like, if you're seriously, like, I can debate my trans ideas, I can debate your trans ideas, dude. We can do this. Please say yes.
I will happily argue with fucking Meghan Murphy on the stage for an hour and a half or whatever. I won't even charge you. I will do it for free.
Dude! Me and you.
There's your offer. I will come and I will argue this person for free. Can't get better than that. Admittedly, I haven't been banned from Twitter, so I'm not quite the most public platform figure.
Banned from Twitter? Gutian, banned from Twitter. What did you do? You must be worse than Alex Jones.
Figure like they are, but that's a pretty decent offer still anyway. For you who are listening, I just wanted to say this because I get told a lot that I don't do enough with regards to New Zealand stuff. I don't do enough with regards to New Zealand politics or New Zealand social attitudes or social environments. And that's a fair complaint. I normally do ignore it because I just don't see as much about it, or it doesn't have such an impact on me. So I'm going to try a little bit more to maybe do an episode here and there talking about New Zealand.
White people are the people most likely to say, where I live doesn't impact me.
Now, this is one of those. I think that it might be good to get New Zealand politics and social environments out to you guys, so you can kind of get an idea of what it's like over here. And from this episode, what you can take away is that we are 100% still dealing with the issue of TERFs, and also with freedom of speech. We had the same issue when we had Jordan Peterson, Stefan Molyneux and Lauren Summon coming here, where all of them were basically allowed to speak at universities and on public platforms, and there was pushback, but there wasn't enough pushback, and it's kind of awkwardly positioned within our freedom of speech kind of thing, because it wasn't sure if it was hate speech or if it wasn't hate speech or anything like that one, which I would argue that it was 100% hate speech, and I just don't think those people should be allowed to speak without any confrontation. Now, I can accept that maybe they should be allowed to speak, but if it's just them talking on a stage by themselves, I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, then you don't actually believe in freedom of speech. Like, to say, oh yeah, I believe in freedom of speech, but like, I have to edit your essay afterwards. That's not freedom of speech. You don't believe in freedom of speech. You're so scared that your ideas are so shit that if they were to have to encounter other ideas and people were to just like objectively evaluate them side by side, not with you there going like, oh, but you have to, but just like able to read them in their own time. You know, maybe read only TERF stuff for like 6 months to just get the idea of like, what do TERFs actually think? And then read your thing or whatever, you know, make those kind of adult decisions about who they're going to associate with and what they're going to read. That idea fucking terrifies you. And it should, because your ideas are terrible.
That. I think there should be someone up there who is able to confront them and push back on their ideas, so that the crowd who is listening to them gets an actual real idea of how well what they say holds up in a proper academic debate.
You're allowed to have freedom of speech, but you have to have a grown-up there to tell you what to think.
That's important to me, that rigorous testing of the ideas.
That I be there to make sure that what I want happens.
That's not happening here. Now, there's not much that you can do to really help with this kind of thing. Normally
I wish there was.
End with like a message of what you can do to fix the issues.
Don't tell me this one's hopeless.
But this problem here, this universities or public platforms hosting people with terrible ideas and then kind of not really doing any compensation or listening to the criticisms in a way that actually reflects what people are demanding, is a pretty universal issue. I've seen the same thing over in the UK, in the US, in Germany, in France, so I hope...
It's almost like universities host like a wide variety of speakers and have done so for decades, and you can watch the political trajectory go like left to right the whole time as they're hosting these speakers. It's like it has no bearing on actual politics. It's like it's this little masturbation game from the internet that I'm playing that just, you know, validates me. And like, dude, I'm playing a masturbation game too. There's a reason why you can't, like, I'm filmed from the shoulders up.
From this, we can kind of see that this is a kind of across-the-board problem here, that we have these people being hosted, and the responses from the platforms or from the companies or whatever that host those platforms isn't in fact a good response, and that it could maybe do with some changes. Now, obviously, protest is your best option to showcase your displeasure with this kind of thing, which is what we're doing here, and what I would advise that you go and do if you see anything like it nearby you. If you see any TERFs, or you see any white supremacists, or Nazis, or fascists, or whatever, being hosted at events, go. Confront them.
Anyone you disagree with is a Nazi.
Hold protests. Make it clear they're not wanted there. That way, it sends a message not just to them, but to...
Make sure your voice is louder than theirs, always.
And to the country or whatever media is there. Now, Massey is also, I think, likely to lose the rainbow tick if this event goes ahead for most LGBT groups, because, then again, this person should not be able to speak here. They have been banned from multiple social media platforms because of how...
The same social media platform as you, dickhead.
Terrible they are. Shouldn't probably be allowed to speak at a university.
But you want to speak at a university.
Or if they are, it should be with some pretty heavy parameters around what they can and can't say. Because there's some stuff that's definitely going to be hate speech. If you like what I do, or you like this video, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, doing all of the YouTube stuff that helps me to stay in the algorithm, because I don't understand it, you don't understand it, YouTube doesn't understand it. So do everything, because maybe one of those might help, right?
Yeah, YouTube doesn't understand it.
Otherwise, my Patreon link will be below. You can go and click on that and then help me out by giving me money every month that I use to buy food and rent and other essentials to survive. Otherwise, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.
Gushi, so yes, if you want to debate, I'm here. I'll have to set up an email. I don't have an email address. You hit me up with your email address or in the comments section. We'll work it out there. But if you want to debate, I definitely would love to debate. If you want to debate for an hour and a half, oh my God, man, that would be great. Yeah, I'll wait to hear from you.
I think it's a terrible thing, and I think that New Zealand should be better than this. I don't think we should be allowing groups like TERFs to come and just speak willy-nilly without any...
Speak willy-nilly, like there's some kind of freedom of speech where people can just talk words out of their mouth. Like, imagine what would happen if just anyone could say the things they're thinking.